to talk about what's happening in Florida, of course, just when you thought it couldn't be any harder to hold police accountable for shooting black men. The Florida Supreme Court made the state's stand your ground law apply to cops as well as civilians. Now, it's going to be nearly impossible now to hold a police criminally responsible in shootings. Of course, this is where, of course, George Zimmerman used stand your ground law to get away with killing Trayvon Martin. Again, let's go to our panel here. And so, look, we know the current law. I mean, huge protections for police. I'm just trying to figure out, how does the stand your ground law apply to an officer when they already have the badge, the gun, all the
they have every legal protection. They are less than 1% of them who kill black people, who kill people, are ever held accountable. So this is, say, even at less than 1% will not be held accountable.
But there's a Supreme Court precedent that establishes if a law officer is fearful of their life, they can use lethal force. Applying to stand your ground, I'm just trying.
They're doubling down.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, and I would say, I'm from the South. I'm a North Carolina native, but Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, all these states are doubling down on voter suppression. They're doubling down on arming and giving police officers more ability to act out their prejudice, racial motivated attacks on our community. And I think that, Roland, I don't know if you saw this morning, the CDC issued a report about gun violence. The United States is on a steady incline. We're the most gun violent. There are more murders, there are more deaths attributed to gun violence by police officers and by civilians. And quite frankly, which shocked a lot of people, the highest suicide rate is among white males.
Ryan, again,
so this is a serious problem. So if the Florida is going to...
I really do not care that white men are killing themselves.
No, but the second statistic, the most who have been murdered are black males.
But the thing, but the thing here, Ryan, that still is crazy that literally with this now, an officer can just say, "Oh yeah, I'm just trying to understand just the logic of applying a law that was for civilians. Now you're applying to law enforcement when they already have significant protections." Their liberty,
our liberty is in their hands, literally, the police officer. And the facts of the case is the young man had, it looks like it was like a BB gun, and he turned around, and they claimed that that they shot him. He was turning around. He had I think earbuds in. And the police officer was charged with manslaughter. And this case could potentially not go to trial now because of this state Supreme Court ruling. And I think that when you look at the stand your ground law, cops already stand their ground every single day.
Right.
How is this, how would give an extra protection to law enforcement, and yet what if that was a reverse case?
Well,
I think what you have here is you have individuals who, again, the problem is when you have a legal system, when you have a system where you are electing district attorneys and you're electing judges, and then if you are a district attorney or a judge, the most important endorsement you want is the police union.
Every time.
And that's what you want in every race.
This is as Ben said earlier, this is a doubling down. This is an attempt to justify murder. Because you know that they already, as you said, they have every protection that they need. All they want now is just to have a free pass. And so anytime a black person is shot, well, I was just standing my ground. We already get these cases of imagination. You think someone was threatening, somebody was walking up on you. They could be walking up on you for 100 feet away, but that's still seen as threatening. And so, Sean King and some others are doing work around electing attorneys general and district attorneys to ensure that, because they have the discretion to bring a case or not. I mean, they may not bring a case, and so when we have more people of color in these positions, you have people who are likely to be more sensitive about bringing a case.
Right, and I'm so pleased that New York just elected a sister.
Yes.
A strong sister as the Attorney General, Tish James, and Minnesota elected Keith Ellison, Attorney General.
But also Aaron Ford in Nevada.
Absolutely. So the thing, though, is, go back to Florida. Look who's on the Florida Supreme Court. How did they get there? Most of those people who are currently on the Florida Supreme Court do not represent the interests of the diversity of Florida. Florida is one of the most ethnic diverse states in the United States. But if you look at his judiciary, it is racially exclusive.
Folks, let's talk about Centoya Brown. Of course, she was 16 years old when she was convicted in 2006 for killing the man who kept her in sex slavery. She's now serving a sentence of 51 years in prison. Now, of course, we've been talking about this. Lots of pressure being applied to Bill Haslam, the governor of Tennessee, to grant her clemency today. The legislature, State Representative Rick Staples of Knoxville, Tennessee, spoke up on her behalf. This is what he had to say.
It's time for individuals that were elected by the citizens of Tennessee to do the right thing. To come together and understand we don't excuse the abusers and punish those who are abused. We do not excuse violence, but when a child has been fed violence, how do you expect for them to react when they're trying to save their lives? We fail as legislators, as leaders in the state of Tennessee by allowing a child to be taken into sex trafficking and to be abused both physically and mentally. But we can correct that now by giving her her freedom. She has gone on to show that she is tough, she is a survivor, and she's in remorse for the action that she's taken. Can we not come together and understand that this goes beyond any political party or political agenda? We just want to do the right thing and correct where we fail in representing and protecting this child and making sure that no other child, no other woman is caught up in something as violent, as disgraceful as what this young lady suffered. So let's come together. Let's recognize that those of us are elected in the state of Tennessee as high as the governor's office and give this young lady her much well-deserved freedom, the freedom she lost when she was innocent as a young child. Thank you.
All right, folks, let's talk about what's happening in Wisconsin today. Governor Scott Walker signed bills that roll back early voting, cut the power of the incoming Democratic governor and the Democratic Attorney General. Now, Democrats and liberal advocacy groups are expected to sue in the next few days. It's important to note that until the Democrats won the governorship in the Attorney General's office, Republicans in the state legislature did not think those bills were needed. But as soon as Democrats won, they rushed them through this week. Interesting. Very interesting. Now, this is where I say about Governor Scott Walker, no respect for him whatsoever, because it's shameful, it's despicable. What he did by signing that. And then for him to say, well, the governor, attorney general is still going to have some powers. But the thing is, they slashed early voting. That has nothing to do with that. That is payback to the residents in that state, the citizens, because they chose to vote out him as governor and vote out other Republicans.
Scott Walker is a disgrace. And thank God that he dropped out of the presidential contest as soon as he did. And for the Republican Party, remember back in 2012 or 13 when Scott Walker was seen as the logical frontrunner to the White House? This man has always been an absolute disgrace to his office. This is nothing but sour grapes. And quite frankly, it's distressing to see if he would have obtained the White House, what he would have done to voters across the board. This is terrifying.
Well, I'm glad you're on this show. We need more former Republicans like you.
The thing about it, Ryan, is he didn't drop out. He was run out. I mean, it was not like he said, "Oh, gee." He was run out. He was polling terribly.
Yeah, he lost fair and square.
Because he basically has no integrity. Because he has attacked public sector unions. Because he has gone after people. You're right. He has no credibility. He is despicable, but beyond despicable, let's just not leave this on Scott Walker. It happened in North Carolina when a Democrat won the gubernatorial race there, and it's happened in other places. Republicans, I don't know what happened to the Republican Party.
They tried it in Michigan.
What you mean? What do you mean? It's called power. I mean, this is very simple. It's power. That's what they want to maintain. Power. They want to maintain control.
By whatever means necessary.
They don't care. They will use their power to do whatever they want as long as they have it.
Right, but the people have at the end of the day, it's the people power. And I think we want to salute those brothers and sisters in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in North Carolina that went to the polls in record numbers. So I think
now they should come out and recall every Republican who voted for it.
That's right.
Everyone.
So this is not over with. Freddie Douglass said it best. Freedom is a constant struggle. So, I mean, if you vote on election day, you got to keep voting after election day to hold these people accountable. And when the next term comes around, between now and 2020, we got a lot of work to do. to get that vote out and not let voter suppression keep us down.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. You want to write this website down, marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org, and I'll tell you why. As we transition to the holiday season, this is the time we start thinking about giving and sharing, and sometimes the best gift that you can give someone is an opportunity that could potentially change their lives. That's why the folks at TRANSATLANTIC Real Estate have an opportunity. They've created an investment opportunity for the everyday investor, which it involves legal marijuana and crowdfunding. Now, we all know that legal marijuana has created one of the fastest growing industries in the country, multi-billion-dollar industry. We also know that crowdfunding makes it easy to be an early investor of an opportunity. But it gets even better. TRANSATLANTIC Real Estate is different, and they have a business model that is simply to understand. They buy land that supports marijuana grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. Now, what that means is you would be investing in the landlord of a licensed marijuana farm in a high growth market. You can invest as little as $300 up to $10,000 before the company goes public. Now, here's some more good news. They've extended their offer, which means you still have time if you take action now. Now, keep in mind, you must complete and confirm your application to participate, so be sure to complete the process. Don't spend all of your money over the holidays and end up with empty pockets. Instead, you can get a return on your investment. You can also consider making an investment for someone else. All you got to do is go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org for you to get in the game. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.